Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 708th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Now straight away you'll see that this is a different start from the usual battles that we play. And what I'd like to say is that, as we know, Rome Total War is now over 18 years old. She's kind of an old girl now. And those of us in the Brotherhood are trying to look at ways to try and freshen the game up a bit, you know, trying to make it a bit different, maybe modernising it a little bit. And so we within the Brotherhood have been talking about what we could do to kind of do those things. As I say, you know, at the moment we all turn up with our saved armies, probably play on the same maps, you know, possibly doing the same tactics and strategy all the time, and we're kind of, if we're not careful, you can get entrenched into that way of thinking on a game. So what we're trying to do is kind of using that saying, no, thinking outside of the box. And with this particular battle, this is the first time I've ever played a battle like this in over 18 years of playing on Rome Total War. Okay, so this is the first time, and this idea was suggested by a Brotherhood member, FirstPrime. And as I say, it's the first time that I've ever fought a battle like this, and it really is thinking outside the box. Okay, can you see this is a 4v4 battle there? Can you see Team 1, okay, and Team 2? Okay, so the idea here is that Team 1 is going to choose Team 2's factions, and Team 2 is going to choose Team 1's factions. Okay, that's the thinking behind this. So you don't get to choose your own faction, the other team chooses your faction. Alright, so as I say, this is the first time I've ever seen this on Rome Total War, and as I say, it's a suggestion by Brotherhood member FirstPrime. So the first team member of Team 1 is Crypto. Okay, Brotherhood member Crypto, and he's going to choose the faction for the first person in Team 2. Okay, so Crypto's the first one in Team 1, and he's going to choose a faction for the person in the top of Team 2 there. Okay, so Crypto has been quite, I think, generous to Aurelius there by giving him Carthage, because Carthage is a recognised 31k faction. Now bearing in mind he got a choice of all those factions, so now Aurelius has got to choose a faction for Crypto, and he's chosen Thrace. Okay, and then the next player in Team 1 is Brotherhood member Lando, and he's going to choose a faction for Brotherhood member Pompey. Okay, so what he's going to do, he's going to give Pompey Britannia, which is another recognised 31k faction. As I say, looking at all those factions, you could choose any faction you want. So now Pompey is going to choose the faction for Brotherhood member Lando. Okay, and let's see what he's going to choose for Lando. And he is going to give him Pontus, once again another recognised 31k faction. But as I say, you can choose any faction you want. Okay, so that's what they've chosen there. And the third teammate in Team 1 is Brotherhood member FirstPrime, and he's got to choose a faction for Barclayman, and he's going to choose Spain for Barclayman. Now that is one of the weaker 31k factions, Spain. So Barclayman has got to choose a faction now for FirstPrime. Okay, so here, and let's see what he's going to choose for first. Right, Numidia. Now, I would say 31k Battle Boys, Numidia and Spain are two of the weakest factions on Rome Total War for 31k battles. Okay, now the fourth teammate is Steve Longshanks, and he's got to choose a faction for me. And he is going to give me Egypt, and I've got to choose one for Steve, and I'm going to give him Parthia. Okay, so there, now look at all those different factions there, and as I say, each team has chosen a faction for the other team here. Have you ever done that on Rome Total War? I've never seen this done before, and as I say, just look at all these factions here. I can guarantee that none of us have got saved armies for the factions that have been chosen for us. So we've got to now use our years of experience to build brand new armies from scratch for each one of these factions. I know Crypto's never bought Thrace, so I know he's going to have to make a brand new army. Lando never brings Pontus, so he's going to have to make a brand new army from scratch. So, you know, Lando brings Rome or Greek cities. FirstPrime, I know he's never bought Numidia, to my knowledge, so he's going to have to build an army from scratch there. And then, of course, their last player there, Steve Longshanks with Parthia. He never brings Parthia. So all of us, I know that all of us are going to have to build these armies from scratch. Okay, so that's going to be, you know, that's something different, something we've got to think outside the box to do that. Numidia, we're going to give 2 elephants to Max, and Parthia's got an elephant too. Carthage, now I think Aurelius is lucky. He never brings Carthage, mind, so I don't think he's going to have a saved Carthage army, but it is a recognised 31k faction. So we just have to see how his army looks. As I say, I can't remember Pompey ever bringing Britannia, so he's going to have to build a Britannia army, as I say, brand new army there. Spain for Barclayman, I never see him bring Spain, so he's going to have to try and build an army out of Spain there. And Egypt, I haven't got a saved Egyptian army. I can't remember the last time I played with Egypt on the 31k battlefield, so I've got to make a brand new army. So as I say, all of us in our team and all of them in the other team, we've all going to have to build brand new armies. Okay, we're going to have to think about battle formations, you know, when we set our armies up on the battlefield there. So this is kind of new to all of us here, you know, an 18-year-old game here that we're actually doing something new on here, which we hope will be interesting and exciting for us, you know, as I say, building brand new armies, setting up new battle formations, seeing how these factions are going to do against each other. And as I say, it's something quite interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what we think of this idea after the battle there. But as I say, it's going to be all new to us, and for an 18-year-old game, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so here we are on the battlefield. Here you'll see that this is a custom map hosted by Brotherhood member Crypto. Should be a very interesting game to watch. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Aurelius. Now he's got 11 Sacred Band, 3 Slingers and 6 Cavalry. So 11 Sacred Band Spearmen there, and you can see there the upgrades he's put on them. He's got 8 upgrades on, 2 Experience Stripes, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. And as I say, this will be an army that he's built specifically for this battle, as he wouldn't have had a saved army. And there you are, his Sacred Band Cavalry. He's put 8 upgrades on, 2 Experience Stripes, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. So I don't think that's a bad Carthage army, basically, there, as he's just built it for this particular battle. As I say, it's an army he would have built from scratch. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Pompey. Now Pompey has got 14 head hurlers and 6 barbarian warlord chariots. Now this is a modern Britannia army. Okay, you can see there he's got 7 upgrades on his head hurlers, an Experience Stripe, Gold Shield, Gold Attack. And he's gone for the barbarian warlord chariots there with their 5 hit points. I think pound for pound these are probably the best chariots in the game. Of course Britannia's got heavy chariots as well, but they've only got 3 hit points. As I say, these guys have got 5 hit points, and that really does make a difference with the chariots, and they don't run amok. Okay, as I say, this is a modern army, 14 head hurlers, 6 chariots. Now remember that those 14 head hurlers can bring absolutely devastating firepower with their effective against armor heads. But if they haven't turned the battle in their team's favour by the time they've thrown all those heads, all you've got is 14 light infantry. Those of you that watch our battle videos regularly would have seen my old-fashioned, old-school Britannia army in the past, where I've got a mixture of chosen swordsmen and head hurlers. I always think that the chosen swordsmen with good upgrades on can be really good infantry. But as I say here, with 14 head hurlers, the firepower they can bring is absolutely devastating. But if they don't turn, as I say, don't turn the battle in the team's favour, all you've got is 14 light infantry after they've thrown all their heads. Right, the next teammate is Brotherhood member Barclayman. Now Barclayman has got 11 bull warriors, 7 slingers and 1 armoured cavalry general. Okay, so there's the bull warriors there. Now on paper these guys look really good. I mean, they look really good. They're really expensive, but they look really good. But you put them up against urban cohorts and they will lose. They kind of look good on paper, but practical sense they're not so good. But As you know, there's no Roman factions in this battle, so these bull warriors may well do well against other factions. But as I say, they're very expensive, and putting them up against urban cohorts, and they will lose. They can throw missiles, they've got good morale, but as I say, they're not fighting Romans in this battle, so you might find that they do quite well in this battle. But as I say, this is an army that Barclayman would have built from scratch. So notice he's got no cavalry except for his armoured cavalry general. There's his Balearic slingers, mid-range Balearic slingers there, but they're good quality slingers. And there's his armoured cavalry general. As I say, Spain's only got light cavalry, so he's decided not to bring any cavalry. And there are the naked fanatics. They're not naked, but they're called the naked fanatics, and they're quite tough infantry as well. So as I say, that's a Spanish army built from scratch, brand new for this battle. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan commander, who has got 9 Pharaoh bowmen, 5 Pharaoh guards, and 6 chariots. Okay, if you have a look there, I've fully upgraded the spearmen, the actual Pharaoh guard spearmen there. Let you see 9 upgrades, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So I fully upgraded those. The Pharaoh bowmen there, if you notice, I've got gold attack and a bronze defense on them. These, pound for pound, are probably the best archers in the game. Even when they run out of arrows, their specifications are so good, they are really effective light infantry. So as I say, probably the best in the game. And then I've got fully upgraded Egyptian chariots here. The one good thing about these guys is they don't run amok. If they're routed, they just leave the battlefield like any other unit, but they've got a big fear factor, a good charge bonus as well. So as I say, I've built this army brand new from scratch for this battle, as we all have. Very, very diverse team there. Let's say you got Carthage there, and then we've got Britannia, we've got Spain, and we've got Egypt there. So a very diverse team indeed. Should be a good one to watch. Okay, at this stage I thought we'd have a look at our new battle formations for our new armies here. If you notice here, I put my fully upgraded Pharaoh Guardsman Spearmen in front of my archers there. Now the simple reason for that is to stop direct cavalry attack into my archers there. Hopefully those fully upgraded spearmen will neutralise any thought of a cavalry attack. And if they want to bring their cavalry around the flank to hit my archers, of course I've got my fully upgraded chariots there to counter any cavalry attack that comes round the spears to try and hit my archers. So as I say, that's a completely new formation for me, for my my Egyptians. Let's have a look at Barclayman's Spanish formation here. You'll see he's got his Balearic slingers in front of his bull warriors there, and he's got some more Balearic slingers at the rear of his battle formation there, as you can see, and he's got his general right at the back there. So that's Barclayman's new Spanish battle formation there. And then we've got Pompey's battle formation here, where he's got his head hurlers, 14 head hurlers there in front of his chariots there. Interesting battle formation there, I think. And our Carthage ally here, if you notice here, you'll see Aurelius has set up his Carthaginians like he does his Spartans there a little bit, and he's got his 5 cavalry there as well. So as I say, these are all new armies for all of us, and all new battle formations as well. Should be great for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Crypto. Now Crypto's got 10 phalanx pikemen, 5 archers, and 5 armoured cavalry general units. Okay, once again, all this team here that we're seeing are all brand new armies there, and you've got 8 upgrades on his phalanx pikemen there. As you can see there, those long pikes, we've got to fight all the way down those long pikes to kill the man on the other end, and he's got some good upgrades on there. His archers there, unfortunately, they're just mid-range archers, not very good, pretty poor archers for Thrace. And I see here he's gone for 5 armoured cavalry general units. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's fully upgraded those armoured cavalry general units there. So he's got, as I say, those armoured cavalry generals will have 2 hit points anyway, but he's fully upgraded them. So that is Crypto's new Thrace army. As I say, he would have made that army from scratch, the same as the rest of us. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. Now Lando's got 8 pikes, 6 archers, 5 cavalry, and a chariot unit. Okay, let's have a look at the upgrades on his pikes there, and you can see he's got 8 upgrades as well. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, and once again, look at the length of those pikes that our men have got to fight down to try and kill the man on the other end. He's got some good upgrades on his archers. There's 7 upgrades, but these archers are very poor defense, only mid-range. Then we're going to have a look at his Cappadocian cavalry here. 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Those of you that might not have seen Cappadocian cavalry, there's a close-up of them. As you can see, they're quite well armoured, and with those upgrades on, they could be battle-winning troops there. Okay, so that's the Cappadocian cavalry, and I see that he's gone for a chariot unit for his general there. And if you look closely, you'll see the general in a chariot there. Unusual to see that. But this chariot can run amok, and of course if it runs amok it will kill both friend and foe alike, but it's got a big fear factor, sapping morale from enemy troops as well, and a big attack specification as well. So there you are. That's Lando's new army there that, as I say, is built from scratch for this particular battle. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member FirstPrime, who's got that fantastic faction Numidia, and he's got 8 legionnaires, 6 archers, 4 armoured cavalry, and 2 elephants. For this game, 2 elephants was allowed for Numidia, as I say, to let them try and compete a bit on a 31k battlefield. You'll see his legionnaires have got 7 upgrades on. Now these guys look a little bit like urban cohorts, but believe me, they are very, very poor. Even fully upgraded, these guys take casualties from archers head on. So and their morale, they've got very poor morale. They can throw missiles, and as I say, they look a little bit like urban cohorts, but they are very poor infantry. That's why you don't see this faction on the 31k battlefield. And he's got fully upgraded archers there, but unfortunately these archers are only mid-range, pretty poor archers. Okay, with those great upgrades on, it's going to give them the optimum there, but they're still not that great. I see he's got armoured cavalry general units as his cavalry, and if you count the upgrades, you'll see he's got 9 upgrades, fully upgraded. Those armoured cavalry general units are. Okay, so that's pretty good. And of course he's got his 2 elephant units. Remember, these guys have got archers that are shooting at enemy troops all the way through the battle, and of course they've got that massive charge factor. They've got a massive charge plus a huge fear factor. They really do take sap the morale from enemy troops, these elephants do. So there's a lot of advantages in having elephants, and I think Numidia needs as many advantages as it can on the 31k battlefield. Be interesting to see how FirstPrime deals with that during the course of the battle. And their last teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks. Now Steve's got 8 archers, 5 infantry, 6 cavalry, and he was allowed 1 elephant for his army there. Now you'll notice that his archers are fully upgraded, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, but they are poor. And here you can see his infantry, his eastern infantry are fully upgraded as well, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. But look at these guys. They can't even be bothered to get out of their pajamas. They've just got straight out of bed, grabbed their shield and their spears, and gone into battle wearing their pajamas. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I remember we used to call these the pajama people years ago. So let's have a look at Steve's cavalry here. He's got his cataphracts. He's got 8 upgrades on his cataphracts there, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Remember, we call these guys the tanks of the ancient world because they're armoured from head to toe, and with those good upgrades on, they could be battle-winning troops. And there's his elephants there. As I say, he got archers on the back of those elephants shooting arrows into the enemy team. And as I say, these elephants have got a huge charge bonus and a massive fear factor they bring to enemy troops there. So once again, a very diverse team. You've got Thrace with Crypto, Pontus with Lando, Numidia with FirstPrime, and of course Parthia with Steve. So as I say, a very, very diverse battle. And as I say, in 2022, imagine we're doing new things on an 18-year-old game. Should be interesting to watch. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you'll see Lando's moved his Pontus army forward, and you'll see Barclayman has moved his Spanish army forward there. Okay, you can see Barclayman here moving his fast-moving armoured cavalry general there, looking to take on those archers there, but I'm guessing that Pontus will bring that heavy cavalry forward, and I'm guessing that Barclayman is going to have to back his cavalry general off, which he's just done there, seeing those massive cataphracts coming towards him, those Cappadocian cavalry coming towards him there. And I think now is going to be an interesting little tussle here between the short range archers of Pontus and of course the short range slingers there of Spain. I think when they get to shooting at each other, it should be quite interesting because they are both short range there. Here you can see Crypto bringing his Thrace spearmen over towards my Egyptian army. As I say there, you can see that massive load of archers there, of Landos, going to be shooting into those slingers there. As I say, I think the short range archers on RTW are probably about the same range as the slingers there. If you notice there, you'll see that Barclayman's got his Balearic slingers there replying to those Pontus archers. As I say, I just thought, you know, for a game that's 18 years old, for us to be able to do something completely new like this, I thought it's really quite exciting actually. Freshens the game up a little bit, doesn't it? But you can see there that the archers there and the slingers of Spain fighting. I've got my archers, my Pharaoh bowmen there, shooting into those Pontus archers as well. But you can see the difference between long range archers and short range archers there. Over here you'll see, let's just pause the game for a second. You'll see that FirstPrime has bought his, I think he had fully upgraded archers here. He's bought them over here as well to help shoot into our allies. Just look at all those archers there, Pontus and Numidian archers there, shooting into the Balearic slingers of Barclayman there. You'll see here that I think Pomp is bringing some head hurlers forward as well here, possibly to target those archers. But of course, if you bring head hurlers forward there without cavalry or chariot support, they are a little bit susceptible to cavalry hits there. And as you can see there, Pompey bringing those head hurlers forward there, as I say, trying to assist his teammate there by targeting those archers with his head hurlers. Over here you can see Lando, as we know, one of the most aggressive attacking players in the game, going to charge his Cappadocian cavalry into the bull warriors, and bang! As he smashes in there with those Cappadocian cavalry straight into those Spanish bull warriors there. That was a nice aggressive hit there by Lando. Even though he's using a faction he's never used before, he's still showing how aggressive he can be on Rome Total War. Right here you can see those bull warriors. As I say, fighting Rome, they're not very good, but fighting other factions, we may well see that they are quite good. There you can see he's got more slingers at the rear of his bull warriors there, shooting slingshot into those cavalry. Of course, I've got my Pharaoh bowmen shooting into those Pontus cavalry and pikemen probably as well. But as I say, very, very aggressive move there by Lando. You can see Aurelius here bringing his Carthaginian spearmen over here to try and counter those Pontus pikemen. So that's a nice move there, a nice teamwork move there by Aurelius to do that. So well done to him. And as I say, this is all new factions basically that we're playing with here for all of us. So it's all a learning curve on an 18-year-old game. So I think it's you know, quite unusual here. Okay, so there you can see that the Pontus pikemen are now engaged with those bull warriors, and you can see Aurelius' Carthage Sacred Band arriving now to try and help. There you are. Look at those long pikes of Pontus there up against those Spanish bull warriors. I'm thinking that Barclayman may well withdraw his bull warriors and let Aurelius take over here. You'll see that FirstPrime's using his fast-moving, fully upgraded cavalry there to chase down those head hurlers. Remember we said those head hurlers looked a bit exposed, being brought forward without cavalry or chariot support. And as you can see there, Steve's shooting fire arrows onto those head hurlers as well. I think Steve's archers were fully upgraded as well. If you notice here, Steve's got his fully, I think he had 8 upgrades on his cataphracts there. And you can see that the Numidian cavalry and the Parthian cavalry have teamed up there at the back of their team there, ready to bring forward when necessary with a big fear factor and massive charge bonus that those elephants have got. But over here, as I say, you can see in the centre of the battlefield here, this is Pontus against Spain, and as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if Barclayman pulls those bull warriors back and lets Aurelius take on those Pontus pikemen there. You can see there how Lando is moving forward slightly with his pikemen. Right there you are, and you can see Aurelius now has now moved forward to take on those Pontus pikemen. As I say, you can see Barclayman backing his bull warriors off of those Pontus pikemen there. So to say, what a nice teamwork move there by Aurelius to bring his Carthaginians over to take on Pontus. Right, now here's a question I'd like to ask you here. If you look very closely at this particular situation, we're going to pause the game a second here, but I want to ask your opinion on something. Okay, now if we look here, we can see that Aurelius's Carthage Sacred Band troops are fighting the Pontus troops. Could you notice anything unusual there? If you look closely, do you notice anything unusual? Okay, I'll give you a clue. Especially look at the Carthage army there. Do you notice anything unusual there with the Carthage army fighting Pontus? Just as a matter of interest. I know veterans will spot this straight away, but newer players for Rome Total War, do you notice anything different, anything unusual? Right, okay. We can see here that Aurelius is fighting Pontus pikes with Carthage's secondary weapon, the sword. Do you notice he hasn't put his spears down? Now remember, Carthage's main weapon is the spear, the phalanx spear. And as you can see here, all his troops are just fighting with their secondary weapon, the sword, at the moment. So I don't know whether Aurelius hasn't realised he hasn't put the spears down on his spearmen there. But as I say, he's fighting Pontus now with the secondary weapon of Carthage, the sword. So as I say, very unusual. Now, I don't know, maybe he's got a tactical reason for doing that. I don't know, there might be a tactical reason. He may feel that he's doing that purposely, or he's just forgotten to put the spears down. Not sure there, to be honest with you. Over here on our right flank, you'll see that Thrace there, Crypto's Thrace pike units there are moving forward, possibly with the thought of engaging my Egyptian spearmen there. And over here on the right flank there, you'll see that you've got that Cappadocian cavalry of Landos, and he may well smash into Aurelius's Carthage Sacred Band there, or go into the missile troops behind them. But remember that those Sacred Band cavalry have got 8 upgrades on, I believe. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Right, there's that Cappadocian cavalry going in, look, and bang! As it smashes into the Carthage Sacred Band infantry. And here you can see Aurelius counter-attacking with his Sacred Band cavalry, and bang! As they smash into those Cappadocian cavalry there. Right, you can see FirstPrime bringing his armoured cavalry units over to help his teammates, and bang! As they smash in there as well. That is some kind of cavalry impact there between the Cappadocian cavalry, Sacred Band cavalry, and those Numidian armoured cavalry units there as well. That's some massive kind of cavalry hit there. I can see Pompey bringing over his chariots there, possibly thinking of throwing them into the fray. But there you can see that Aurelius has backed his Sacred Band cavalry off, and the enemy team have moved their cavalry back as well. Right, let's pause the game for a second here. Okay, so here you can see Steve bringing his well-upgraded cataphracts over. He was going to throw them into the fray if they just stayed fighting there. But as I say, Aurelius has pulled his Sacred Band cavalry back. And here you'll see that Pompey has moved some of his head hurlers forward here, so they can throw their effective against armour heads into the enemy Pontus pikemen there. So that's a nice teamwork move. Now over here you'll see that Crypto has decided to bring his Thrace pikemen up against my Pharaoh Guard spearmen there, as you can see. And you'll see the length of those Thracian pikes against the short spears of my Pharaoh Guard there. Let's just pause the game for a second here. So if you just look at how short the spears are of my Pharaoh Guards there up against the length of those massive Thrace pikes, so you can see straight away that the Thrace pikemen have got a big advantage over my Pharaoh Guards with the length of their pikes. But I know that my Pharaoh bowmen will be shooting in to those Thrace pikemen. I've put my Pharaoh bowmen on automatic fire, so they're going to do that. Right, if you notice here, can you see I'm moving my chariots around the flank of the battle here? Okay, now what I'm going to do is ask you a question if you were in charge of my chariots. So say I brought them round from the rear. Okay, so what I'm going to do is say, if you're in charge of my chariots, what would you do? Should I smash into the back of these engaged Thracian pikemen that are really putting pressure on my Pharaoh spearmen? Is that what you would do? Smash into the back of those engaged Thracian pikes? Or maybe go over here into the enemy missile troops, because we know they've got a lot of missile troops over here. What about if I brought my chariots over here and charged into these archers, Here, look, right along there. Took on to the archers there, maybe smashed into a couple of enemy infantry units into the flank there, maybe, possibly. What do you think if you were in charge of my chariots? What do you think you would do here in a tactical attack question? A tactical chariot attack question. Smash into the back of these engaged Thracian pikemen there that's threatening my spearmen, or go into maybe the missile troops of the enemy army there. What would you do if you were in charge of my chariots? Interesting, isn't it, to see what we would do. Okay, so here you can see my chariots obviously starting to move towards the enemy here. Now, am I going to smash into the back of these Thracian pikemen? Is that what I'm going to do, to relieve the pressure on my Pharaoh spearmen? Do you think that's what I should do there? You see, I'm just going to think about it. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not. Now, you're going to see here, I'm going to charge in to the flank of the enemy team. Now, I know that these armies that we're facing have got very poor morale. And what I'm thinking here is, with the fear factor and the impact of my chariots here, I could possibly get a mass rout going. Right, here you can see my chariots coming in there, going to smash into the flank of the Numidian infantry, and bang, as they smash in there. And straight away you'll see the Pontus pikemen starting to rout as well. Can you see the Pontus pikemen there? Their fear factor, look, from the chariots there. And we know that their morale is very poor. So all the Pontus pikemen have just routed there, and I haven't even attacked them. It's just a fear factor from the chariots, plus the pressure of my allies. Now, the Numidian legionnaires here, you'll see a lot of their units have routed as well there, and a lot of other enemy units have routed there. That's because the armies, all the factions that we're fighting with on both teams, have got pretty poor morale, or most of them have, and I knew that charging those chariots in could well get a mass rout going in there. And as I say, you can see all those Pontus pikemen there, from the pressure of Carthage on them, and then the fear factor of the chariots all of a sudden arriving has caused a mass rout of the Pontus pikemen there. And you can see a lot of the Numidian infantry is routing as well. Now, I'm just thinking here, if Pompey brought his chariots in at the same time, imagine the fear factor, the massive fear factor from two lots of chariots hitting the enemy team here. Right, you can see now I'm going to start to chase down a lot of the archer units. You'll see Steve is bringing his well upgraded cavalry, his cataphracts, over here to maybe counter my chariots. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. Over here you will see that the Thracian pikemen have broken through some of my Pharaoh guard spearmen there. Okay, you can see they've broken through, but I know that my Pharaoh bowman archers will be shooting into them, causing them massive casualties there as they're moving forward. Okay, so yes, our right flank looks like it's kind of broken there. They've broken through my spearmen, but I know that my bowmen there will be causing them a lot of casualties. So yeah, that's what's happening on the right flank. As I say, you can see, as I say, all those Pontus pikemen have now been routed. And as I say here, imagine if Pompey now brought his chariots in, so that you'd have Egyptian chariots and the Britannia chariots. Imagine the fear factor that would cause amongst those factions that have got poor morale anyway. So you can see here Pompey moving his barbarian warlord chariots over to the flank of the enemy team there. Okay, you can see that. He doesn't want to charge straight into that eastern infantry, because they're spearmen, and of course they'll have anti-cavalry, anti-chariot abilities there. So as I say, here you can see the chariots of Pompey there, and you can see that the Numidian archers are moving away from them there. But over here on the other flank, you can see that Steve's cavalry there, his well upgraded cataphracts there, are charging into my chariots. If you notice there, let's just pause the game for a second. How often do you see Egyptian chariots fighting Parthian cataphracts there? And you've got Numidian elephants in there as well, look. So you've got the elephants there of the enemy team and the cataphracts fighting my chariots. There you can see Crypto using his Thracian armoured cavalry general units there to chase down our missile troops there. So that's a nice move there by Crypto there, using his cavalry for that. Kill a lot of our troops off. But over here you'll see that Crypto's Thracian pikemen there have been massively reduced, mostly by archer fire from my bowmen. Of course they would have suffered damage from my spearmen as well, but I think it's mostly archer fire there that's done the trick. So over here, as I say, you can see that Pompey's got his chariots Over there, he's attacking Numidian archers at the moment with a couple of his chariots. There, you can see there. So I think he's going to get some good kills here. Look at all those Numidian chariot archers he's just killed with his chariots there. So that was a nice move there by Pompey. And meanwhile, over on the other flank, Steve's Parthian cataphracts that are taking on the Sacred Band cavalry. And there you can see the Numidian elephants moving over to the other flank there. There you can see them moving forward. Remember, if those elephants run amok, they become a menace to both friend and foe alike. So you have to watch out for those. That's the Numidian generals just been taken out by the Britannia chariots there. As we know, Numidia's got very, very poor morale, so with their general dead, that's going to increase that right there. Or you can see that Numidian elephant now has run amok. Look at that. Look how he's killing his Parthian allies' archers there. Just look at all those archers he just killed there with that amok elephant. There you can see Pompey's chariots charging in. Look at bang as it charges in to those archers there. And here's the Numidian elephants actually fighting Britannia chariots. How often do you see this on a 31k battlefield? Numidian elephants fighting Britannia chariots. Very, very, very rare, I would say, on that. Let's say over here you can see Steve's Parthian cataphracts there, well upgraded cataphracts. Just was fighting those bull warriors. You can see there's some Britannia chariots getting involved with them now. Let's pause the game. So here you can see Steve's brought his elephants over. And of course he's got his well upgraded cataphracts as well. He may well do a joint attack here of elephants and cavalry onto our troops there. Over here you'll see that Crypto using his Thracian fast moving armoured cavalry generals units extremely well there to take out our missile troops. So my guess is that Crypto may get some good kills as well, attacking our missile troops with those units there. But over here, as I say, you can see Steve's cataphract cavalry and his elephant unit there, and he's charging into those Spanish bull warriors there. Can you see the Spanish bull warriors he's charging? But you can see that Pompey's brought his Britannia chariots over as well. And oh my gosh, and you're going to see Parthian elephants fighting Britannia chariots. As I say, how rare is this on a 31k battlefield? Something new for an 18-year-old game. So that's what we wanted to do, try to freshen up RTW a bit with some new ideas. And we thought this was quite a good idea. Now this was unusual here. Numidian elephant unit there has just been routed, okay, by head hurlers. Can you see all the casualties that those elephants have suffered from the head hurlers there? Okay, and that has now caused them to rout. So those elephant units have now routed there. And at this stage it looks like our team may well have gone on to have to win the battle there. There's Steve's general just been taken out. The Parthian cavalry general just been taken out by a Britannia chariot there. And now you can see Pompey really charging his Britannia chariots into these Thracian armoured cavalry units there. Look at how often do you see that? Thracian armoured cavalry units fighting Britannia chariots on the 31k battlefield. So rare to see that as well. So as I say, we're just trying all this this stuff out here on in this battle there, as it's all new to us there. So let's just pause the game for a second there. So as I say, it looks like our team's managed to go on to to win the battle there. So all the way over from our right flank, where my Pharaoh spearmen and bowmen were fighting those Thracian pikemen there, as you can see there. Remember that those Thracian pikemen outnumbered my 4 Pharaoh spear guard units there, and I think that the spear guard units didn't do too badly against those Thracians. Looking at the dead there, so let's say I think they did quite well. As we move further across the battlefield here, you can see cavalry here. There are a lot of cavalry dead there. Looks like Sacred Band and Parthian cavalry. As we move over here, you can see Britannia chariots. You can see the elephants there, the brought down elephants. You can see the wheels of the chariots. Look where the wheels have come off the chariots. And as we move across the battlefield over here, look, this is where I think Pontus was fighting the bull warriors, and then Carthage came in as well. So you can see loads and loads of dead here, basically along the line here. You can see some cavalry there. That's where that those Cappadocian cavalry of Landos charged in. And as we move all the way across the battlefield here, you'll see more clumps of dead. there as we move across. So as you can see, it's quite a spread out battle, and if you look over here, you'll see the pink pajamas of the Eastern infantry there. They don't have to stick out on the battlefield there, don't they? You can see, as I say, fancy just getting out of bed in your pajamas, grabbing your spear and shield and going into battle. But so there you are. There you can see them there, all laid out in a line there, where I think they were taken out possibly by chariots there, but you can see that they were taken out in a line there where they stood. They died where they kind of stood there. And so, as I say, a very, very spread out battle, as you can just see all over the place. There's dead there. So yeah, very, very spread out battle there. And as I say, our team managed to go on to win the battle there. But as I say, those amok elephants, when they run amok, I mean, they can be a real menace there. And as I say, you can see that all those enemy troops have got such poor morale, the chances of them rallying would be extremely low. So I just want to show you this amok elephant look against chariots. Look at those Britannia chariots there, and you can see now the elephant's going to turn back onto these Britannia chariots, and look at the damage that this elephant does. Look at that! Look at the chariots he's just chopped down there, and you can see there that all those chariots there have been killed by that one run amok elephant there. Okay, so that's what an amok elephant can do to chariots there. So I just thought that was quite an interesting thing to see there. As I say, here you can see the chariots there charging around, but as I say, those units will rout. Those enemy units that have routed there won't rally because their morale is so poor. So there's not much chance of them doing that. And as I say, just look at the dead here. You can see all the dead there. Okay, so as you can see there, it is, I'd just like to say, really well played to everybody in the game. It was an average victory, as you can see there, which surprised me. I thought it might have been a close, but it was average. And you can see there that the highest kills in the game goes to my Egyptian army. Now, bearing in mind, I can't remember the last time I used Egypt. That was pretty good. So well done to Crypto with Thrace. Bearing in mind, it's not really a recognised 31k Roman, RTW 31k army. Did well. Well done to Lando. I thought he did well with Pontus there. I thought, as I say, we're all using new armies here. Well done to FirstPrime there with Numidia. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but that's Numidia for you on the 31k battlefield, even with 2 elephants. And poor old Stavler with Parthia. Well, bearing in mind his infantry is so poor for Parthia, but I thought he got some good kills there with his cataphracts. So really well done to the other team there. Well done to Aurelius with Carthage there. Possibly didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but I thought he showed some great teamwork when he came over to help his teammate. Well done to Pompey. I thought Pompey did well there with Britannia, got some good kills there. And well done to Barclayman there with Spain. Got over 1,000 kills with Spain, so well done to him. So as I say, just look at the diversity of the team. Egypt, Carthage, Britannia and Spain in our team, and Thrace, Pontus, Numidia and Parthia in the other team there. So as I say, this is the first time I think we've ever done this, and to my knowledge this is the first time that this has been done on Rome Total War, where we actually choose the other team's factions. Just look at the statistics there. You'll see my chariots didn't do too badly. Pharaoh Bowman didn't do too badly. Lost 1 man to kill 75, lost 4 men to kill 102. I lost 3 men there to kill 105. So the Pharaoh Bowman did quite good, and the spear units did quite good as well. There's 1 Bowman unit didn't lose any men and killed 112. So looking at the battle statistics there, I think the Bowmen did quite well, and those Pharaoh Guardsmen did quite well against those Thrace pikemen there. So as I say, we wanted to try and freshen up RTW as it's an 18-year-old game, and I think by doing this, by choosing each other's factions, which is the first from my knowledge on Rome Total War, is a way of trying to freshen it up a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this unusual battle. Please leave a comment if you like. Bye for